Alright, all you awesome people. Today, we're going to be talking about Jones. James. Damn it, Eric! Joe's Ancient Orange Mead. Now, you love it or you hate it. Seems to be the consensus. I love it. This happens to be Joe's Ancient Orange Mead, and like I said, I love it. To me, a J-Ohm is a mead recipe you should definitely try, because how do you know if you like it or not if you don't try it? I have been getting ready to make another batch of J-Ohm, and I wanted to kind of have it ready for, around Christmas time, so now is a good time to start. But I kind of got to thinking the recipe calls for one large orange, which kind of limits you to navel oranges. But there's so many different oranges out there. So, you know what? Today we're going to do a little bit of an experiment using a couple different oranges. So today we're going to make 3 different Joe's Ancient Orange Mead. We're going to go with, the standard navel orange, which I think everybody ends up using. But we're also going to do mandarin oranges, as well as, now I don't know if I'm saying this right, but these are Tangelo Miniola oranges. I bought a couple, I tried one, and they're kind of like a cross between a grapefruit and an orange. So an orangey grapefruit? I don't know, anyways, they tasted different. So again, we're gonna go with these, and Joe's Ancient Orange Mead is a pretty straightforward recipe. 3.5 oranges. So the standard recipe for a Joe's Ancient Orange Mead is 3.5 pounds of honey, an orange, a handful of raisins, about 25 or so, a cinnamon stick, a clove, water, and about a teaspoon of bread yeast, or like 1 packet. Now, since we're trying to compare oranges to oranges, I need to make that equal. So one thing I'm going to do, instead of just adding 1 large orange, because as you can tell, they're all different sizes. So I'm going to weigh the big guy, and when I cut it up, I'm going to cut up all the others to equal the same weight. Everything else will be kept the exact same. So that's about it. Let's get to it. So in each jar, my 3.5 pounds of wildflower honey. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of water to each one, shake it up, and kind of get the honey mixed in. It's okay to use warm water you want warmer water in the beginning to help mix in all this honey. And as you're mixing it, as I've said before, check the bottom to make sure you get everything all mixed in and incorporated. When you add your other water, you can make it a little bit cooler, so that way, your water temperature is cold enough to pitch that yeast into. All right, our honey's mixed in with a little bit of water. Now I'm just gonna weigh my big orange. Oh, make sure you take the stickers off. Made that mistake before. Because we're adding the peel, the pith, the juice, every part of the orange, I'm just gonna weigh the whole thing like this. So it's about 14.25 ounces. So I'm gonna cut this up, I'm gonna place it into this one. I'll weigh the exact same amount out of this. So I'm just gonna get my cutting board, sanitize my knife, and I'm just gonna cut it up. Wow, shit. Okay, I had to use a different orange because I cut the first one and it was actually rotten on the inside. So I'm gonna weigh this one. This one's 14.5 ounces. So we're gonna go with 14.5 ounces for the other 2 types of orange. So I'll grab my re-sanitized cutting board and knife. And this one's much better on the inside. So I'm gonna cut it into wedges. And then into smaller chunks. I'm gonna push these through. And also with the smaller pieces, we'll just make it easier to take out in the long run. All right, one down. Now on to the next one. So 14.5 ounces. Now, I don't know if you can see, but this one, for those navel oranges, there's a lot of pith, that white part that separates the peel from the, the slices. If you look at these ones, there's a lot less pith. Does that make a difference? I don't know, but we'll sure find out. So let me cut this up. And now 14.5 ounces of the mandarin oranges. All right, the next step in the Joe's Ancient Orange Mead is raisins. Yes, raisins. We know raisins are not nutrients, but that's what's needed in this recipe. So it usually says just a handful of raisins. Everyone's hand size is different. And to keep it equal, I counted them out. And I'm just gonna rough chop them and sprinkle them in. I guess if I really wanted to make things equal, I could have weighed out the raisins, but it's too late for that now. So counting them, just have to do. All right, raisins are in. Now we're gonna add 1 cinnamon stick to each. And 3. And 1 clove. You can do 2, but these are pretty potent. They don't look like much, but they pack a punch. So only 1 each. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually add my bread yeast right now. All right, so 1 teaspoon of bread yeast each. Now you may be wondering why I'm adding my bread yeast now before adding the rest of my water. It's because what I'm gonna do, there we go, is now I'm gonna add just a little bit more water, and then I'm gonna shake it all up. So this way all the yeast, because as you're pouring it, some of it gets stuck in the necks, and there's a little bit of honey in there. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more water, shake them all up, and then I'm gonna finish topping them up with the rest of my water. I am measuring the water as well, just to make sure they're all getting the exact same amount. Okay, they're mixed. Now I'm just gonna top them up to just about right here, just before that neck, because once this does start fermenting, it's gonna push a lot of stuff up, and I don't want an overflow or whatever. So I'm gonna measure, they're all gonna be the exact same. They're topped up. Now all that's left to do is install our bungs and airlocks. Now because we're shaking them up and everything, they're gonna be pretty wet. Your bungs won't, stay in there. So I just take a clean piece of paper towel and just kind of wipe down that inside there. And that's it. Super easy to make, as we said. And now all I'm gonna do with this is put them off to the side and let them sit. I'm not gonna shake them or stir them, nothing. For those of you that don't know, you just basically wait them out. All the fruit will end up falling to the bottom, everything will, and it'll honestly clear all on its own. As you can tell, that's pretty darn clear. And to me, it tastes really freaking delicious. So in several months, I will definitely keep you guys updated with a tasting video on the differences between these. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm excited to see if there is a difference. And if not, well, really, it's still all good to me anyways. Are you a lover of Joe's Ancient Orange Mead? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm interested on your take on it. Other than that, like and subscribe, and definitely click that little bell icon. We release videos every